Have you ever wondered how many times you have lost, not because you were wrong, but because you spoke too soon? Have you ever been in a moment where saying something felt necessary, yet something inside you told you to stay quiet? And later, you realized that the silence you chose protected you more than any words ever could. Silence is misunderstood by most people. They think power comes from speaking quickly, defending loudly, and reacting instantly. But real strength is controlled. It is measured. It knows when words will weaken you instead of protect you. If you're ready to stop exposing your strength through unnecessary words and start using silence as your greatest advantage, write this in the comment below. My silence is my weapon. Let that be the strategy that wins battles before they even begin. Silence is not emptiness, it is strategy. It protects your dignity, sharpens your awareness, and denies others the reactions they are trying to provoke. When used correctly, silence becomes a weapon that wins without noise. Here are 12 times you must use silence as your greatest weapon. Number 1. Use silence as your weapon when someone is trying to provoke you. Some people do not want truth, they want reaction. They push your emotions, test your patience, and wait for you to lose control. The moment you react, you lose the advantage. Silence frustrates them because it removes their power to influence you. The desire to provoke others is often rooted in insecurity. When someone cannot elevate themselves through discipline or achievement, they may attempt to lower others through emotional disruption. Provocation becomes a shortcut to control. If they can make you angry, defensive, or reactive, they gain influence over your behavior without earning it. The Stoics recognized this pattern clearly. They understood that reacting to provocation is a form of surrender. It means allowing another person to dictate your emotional state. And once your emotions are controlled externally, your judgment becomes compromised. Imagine a situation where someone criticizes you publicly with the intention of provoking a reaction. If you respond immediately with anger, the focus shifts away from their behavior and toward your response. The conversation becomes about your reaction rather than their intention. In this moment, they have succeeded. Silence prevents this shift. When you remain calm and refuse to react, the attention stays on the person attempting to provoke. Observers begin to notice the imbalance. One person is attempting to create conflict. The other remains composed. Over time, this contrast reveals who truly lacks control. The Stoics practiced this discipline deliberately. They reminded themselves that insults and provocations only gain power if they are accepted. If someone says something false about you, their words do not change reality. If someone attempts to offend you, the offense only exists if you choose to internalize it. By remaining silent, you deny the provocation, the response it depends on. This does not mean you must remain silent forever. Sometimes a calm, measured response later may be appropriate. But the key is timing. Silence allows you to choose when and how to respond, instead of reacting impulsively in the moment. Over time, people learn that provoking you produces no reward, and when behavior is no longer rewarded, it often disappears. Number 2, use silence as your weapon. When you are angry, anger makes you speak from emotion instead of clarity. Words spoken in anger often destroy relationships and opportunities that took years to build. Silence gives you time to regain control and respond with wisdom instead of regret. Anger is one of the fastest emotions to override reason. It narrows your focus, intensifies your reactions, and creates a sense of urgency that demands immediate expression. In this state, words become weapons rather than tools. The Stoics did not deny the existence of anger. They acknowledged that it arises naturally in response to perceived injustice or frustration. But they insisted that acting on anger without restraint leads to consequences that often outweigh the original problem. Words spoken in anger tend to exaggerate. They target vulnerabilities. They express thoughts that would never be spoken under calm reflection, and once released, they cannot be retrieved. Imagine a disagreement with someone close to you. In a moment of anger, you say something that attacks their character rather than addressing the issue. The immediate emotional release may feel satisfying, but once the anger fades, the damage remains. Trust weakens, respect diminishes, and even if an apology follows, the memory of those words lingers. Silence interrupts this entire chain of events. When you feel anger rising, choosing not to speak creates a gap between emotion and action. In that gap, reason has time to return. The intensity of the feeling begins to fade. The situation becomes clearer. Often you realize that the issue was smaller than it appeared in the moment, or you recognize that your response needs to be more measured to achieve a constructive outcome. The Stoics practiced delaying response as a form of emotional discipline. They trained themselves to pause when strong emotions appeared, not to suppress the feeling, but to prevent it from controlling their behavior. This pause transforms anger from a destructive force into a signal that something requires attention. Silence gives you the space to decide how to address that signal effectively. Number 3. Use silence as your weapon. When someone is exposing their true character, the more people talk, the more they reveal. If you interrupt or argue too soon, you stop them from showing you who they really are. Silence allows you to observe patterns and understand intentions. One of the greatest advantages silence provides is the ability to observe without interference. Many people reveal their values, intentions, and character not through direct statements, but through patterns of speech over time. These patterns often go unnoticed because conversations are filled with interruptions, arguments, and attempts to respond quickly. The Stoics understood that patience in conversation reveals truth. When someone speaks freely, they eventually reveal inconsistencies, biases, and underlying motivations. A person who exaggerates may reveal insecurity. A person who constantly criticizes others may reveal dissatisfaction with themselves. A person who avoids responsibility in their words will likely avoid it in their actions. Imagine meeting someone in a professional setting. If you dominate the conversation, you leave with very little understanding of who they are. But if you allow them to speak and listen carefully, you begin to notice patterns. How do they describe past experiences? Do they take responsibility for mistakes or shift blame? Do their stories align logically, or do they contradict themselves? These details provide insight that no direct question could fully reveal. Silence acts as a mirror. It allows the other person to project their thoughts without interruption. Over time, the reflection becomes clear. The Stoics valued this form of observation because it prevents premature judgment. Instead of reacting to a single statement, you gather a pattern of behavior, and patterns are far more reliable indicators of character than isolated words. Number 4. Use silence as your weapon when you do not fully understand a situation. Speaking without full understanding can lead to mistakes and misjudgments. Silence allows you to gather information, observe details, and respond with accuracy. One of the most common sources of error in human interaction is premature judgment. People hear part of a situation and immediately form conclusions. They respond quickly, often without realizing that important information is missing. The Stoics believed that clarity requires patience. When you encounter a situation that is not fully understood, silence becomes a tool for investigation. Instead of reacting immediately, you observe. You listen, you ask questions when necessary, but you avoid making definitive statements until the full picture becomes visible. Imagine hearing a complaint about someone's behavior from a third party. If you respond immediately by forming an opinion, you risk misunderstanding the situation entirely. But if you remain silent and gather more information, you may discover that the context is far more complex than it initially appeared. Silence protects you from making judgments you may later regret. It prevents you from aligning yourself with incomplete information, and it allows your eventual response to be based on understanding rather than assumption. The Stoics valued accuracy in judgment because they understood that decisions based on incomplete information often lead to unnecessary conflict. By practicing silence in moments of uncertainty, you strengthen your ability to respond with clarity rather than impulse. Number 5. Use silence as your weapon. When others are gossiping, participating in gossip may seem harmless, but it damages your reputation and trustworthiness. Silence shows discipline and signals that you do not engage in negativity. The Stoics believed that speech reveals character more quickly than action. What a person chooses to discuss repeatedly exposes what occupies their mind. Gossip, in particular, reveals a mind that is focused outward rather than inward. Instead of examining its own behavior, it analyzes the lives of others. At first, gossip feels harmless. It creates a sense of connection. People exchange stories, laugh at shared opinions, and feel temporarily included. But beneath this surface lies a subtle consequence. Each time you participate, you associate your voice with the absence of the person being discussed. Others may engage in the conversation, but they also observe your willingness to speak about someone who is not present. This observation quietly shapes how they perceive you. The Stoics understood that reputation is built through consistent behavior in small moments. Refusing to participate in gossip may seem insignificant, but over time it creates a powerful impression. People begin to recognize that your words are not easily influenced by negativity. They understand that you do not rely on the weaknesses of others to feel stronger. This perception builds trust. Imagine sitting in a group where someone begins sharing negative information about another person. If you join the conversation, you become part of the cycle. But if you remain silent or redirect the discussion, you create a different dynamic. The conversation may shift, or it may continue without your involvement. Either way, you have preserved your position. The Stoics did not encourage confrontation in every situation. They valued calm restraint over dramatic reaction. Silence in the presence of gossip communicates more effectively than criticism. It signals that you choose not to engage without creating unnecessary conflict. Over time, people begin to treat your presence differently. They become more careful with what they say around you. They recognize that your speech is intentional rather than impulsive. This shift strengthens your influence in ways that constant participation never could. Number 6. Use silence as your weapon. When someone is criticizing you unfairly, not every accusation deserves a response. Constantly defending yourself can trap you in endless arguments. Silence often communicates confidence more effectively than explanation. Criticism, especially when unfair, creates a strong impulse to respond. The natural reaction is to defend your position, clarify your intentions, and correct what appears to be a misunderstanding. But the Stoics observed that not all criticism requires immediate engagement. Some accusations are not intended to seek truth, but to provoke reaction or create doubt. When you respond to every criticism, you enter a cycle where your energy becomes consumed by defense. Each explanation invites another challenge. Each clarification creates another opportunity for argument. Over time, the focus shifts away from your actions and toward the endless need to justify them. Silence disrupts this cycle. When you do not respond immediately, the criticism stands on its own. Observers begin evaluating it without being distracted by emotional reactions. In many cases, unfair criticism loses its strength when it is not reinforced by argument. Imagine someone questioning your competence in a public setting. If you respond with frustration, the situation escalates. But if you remain composed and allow your actions to demonstrate your capability over time, the criticism fades naturally. The Stoics believed that consistency of behavior is the strongest form of response. Words can be debated. Actions, repeated over time, create evidence that is difficult to deny. Silence also protects your emotional balance. When you refuse to engage with every negative opinion, you prevent your mood from being controlled by external voices. You choose where your attention goes, and this choice preserves your clarity. This does not mean you must ignore all criticism. Constructive feedback deserves consideration. But the key lies in distinguishing between useful insight and empty accusation. Silence allows you to make that distinction without reacting impulsively. Number 7. Use silence as your weapon when your plans are not yet complete. Speaking too early about your goals invites doubt, criticism, and interference. Silence protects your vision while you build quietly. The excitement of a new idea often creates the urge to share it immediately. People imagine encouragement, validation, and recognition from others. But the Stoics understood that early exposure can weaken a developing plan. When an idea is still fragile, external opinions can influence it too quickly. Doubt may appear where confidence once existed. Criticism may create hesitation before the plan has had time to take shape. Even well-intentioned advice can introduce confusion if it arrives too early. Silence protects the early stages of creation. By keeping your plans private while they develop, you allow yourself the space to refine them through action rather than conversation. Each step you take strengthens the idea internally before it is exposed externally. Imagine someone beginning a new project. If they announce it immediately, they invite expectations. Others may ask for results before progress has been made. This pressure can create unnecessary stress and distraction. But if they work quietly, focusing on execution rather than explanation, the results eventually speak for themselves. The Stoics valued substance over appearance. They believed that what you build matters more than what you announce. Silence ensures that your energy remains directed toward creation rather than validation. It also protects you from discouragement. Not everyone will understand your vision. Some may project their own fears onto your plans. Others may question your ability based on limited information. By limiting exposure during the early stages, you avoid unnecessary resistance. Over time, when your work becomes visible, it carries weight because it is supported by action rather than intention. Number 8. Use silence as your weapon. When someone seeks attention through drama, some individuals create conflict simply to be noticed. Silence removes the audience they depend on and reduces their influence. The desire for attention can take many forms. For some, it appears through achievement and contribution. For others, it appears through conflict and disruption. These individuals create tension because tension draws focus. Arguments, emotional reactions, and dramatic situations place them at the center of attention. The Stoics recognized that engaging with this behavior often strengthens it. Each reaction provides the attention the individual is seeking. Each argument extends the lifespan of the conflict. Silence removes this reinforcement. When drama does not receive attention, it loses its effectiveness. Imagine a situation where someone consistently creates conflict in group settings. They raise their voice, exaggerate issues, and attempt to provoke reactions. If others respond emotionally, the situation escalates. But if the group remains calm and refuses to engage, the behavior appears unnecessary and ineffective. Over time, the individual may either adjust their approach or lose influence entirely. The Stoics believed that attention is a form of currency. Where you direct it determines what grows. When you give attention to drama, you encourage its continuation. When you withdraw attention, you weaken its presence. Silence becomes a deliberate decision to invest your energy in what matters rather than what distracts. It protects your focus and prevents you from being drawn into situations that offer no value. Number 9. Use silence as your weapon. When emotions are high in a conversation, heated discussions rarely lead to clear solutions. Silence creates space for emotions to settle and prevents escalation. The Stoics understood that emotion, when intense, narrows perception. It reduces complex situations into simplified oppositions: right or wrong, attack or defense, win or lose. In this state, communication loses its purpose. Words are no longer used to understand, but to overpower. And when two people speak from this emotional intensity at the same time, the conversation becomes a collision rather than an exchange. Silence interrupts that collision. It introduces a pause where escalation would normally occur. That pause is not empty, it is functional. It allows the nervous system to calm, the mind to widen its perspective, and reason to re-enter the conversation. Without that pause, people often say things that permanently alter relationships. Consider a disagreement between colleagues or partners. At first, the discussion may be grounded in a specific issue, but as emotions rise, the language shifts. Instead of addressing the situation, individuals begin attacking each other's character. Old grievances surface, tone sharpens. The original issue disappears beneath emotional reactions. In these moments, continuing to speak rarely improves anything. The Stoics would advise stepping back not as avoidance, but as discipline. Silence in this context is an act of protection. It protects the relationship from words that cannot be undone. It protects your clarity from being overwhelmed by emotion. It also communicates something powerful, that you are not controlled by the immediate intensity of the moment. Over time, this discipline changes how others interact with you. When people recognize that emotional escalation does not produce reaction from you, they begin adjusting their approach. Conversations become more measured because the usual pattern of escalation no longer works. Silence becomes a stabilizing force within the interaction. Number 10. Use silence as your weapon. When you sense manipulation, some conversations are designed to make you reveal information that can later be used against you. Silence protects you from exposing yourself unnecessarily. The Stoics believe that not every interaction is guided by honesty or mutual respect. Some individuals approach conversations with strategic intent. They ask questions not to understand, but to gather information. They steer discussions toward topics that reveal your plans, your vulnerabilities, or your opinions in ways that can later be used to influence or undermine you. This form of manipulation often appears subtle. The questions may seem casual, the tone may appear friendly, but something in the structure of the conversation feels deliberate. You may notice repeated attempts to direct you toward specific answers or to extract more detail than necessary. In these moments, silence becomes a form of control. It allows you to choose what you reveal rather than responding automatically. Imagine someone asking detailed questions about your plans, your relationships, or your decisions in a way that feels intrusive. If you answer every question openly, you provide information that may later be interpreted out of context. But if you respond selectively or choose not to elaborate, you maintain ownership of your narrative. The Stoics practiced this restraint because they understood that information is a form of leverage. The more others know about your intentions and emotional triggers, the easier it becomes to influence you. Silence limits that exposure. It ensures that what you reveal is intentional rather than reactive. This does not mean becoming secretive or distrustful of everyone. It means developing awareness, recognizing when a conversation serves mutual understanding and when it serves another person's agenda. Silence gives you the space to make that distinction without pressure. Number 11. Use silence as your weapon. When success begins to appear, talking too much about your achievements can attract unnecessary attention, envy, or criticism. Silence allows your results to speak for themselves. Success changes how people perceive you. As progress becomes visible, attention increases. Some will admire your achievements, others will question them. A few may feel threatened by them. The Stoics understood that success introduces new challenges, not just opportunities. One of those challenges is managing how you present your progress. When someone speaks constantly about their achievements, they often attract more attention than necessary. This attention is not always positive. It can create comparison, invite criticism, or generate expectations that add pressure to future actions. Silence protects you from these effects. By allowing your results to speak naturally through your actions, you maintain focus on the work rather than the recognition. Others observe what you have accomplished without being prompted. This creates respect that is grounded in evidence rather than self-promotion. Imagine two individuals achieving similar success. One speaks frequently about their accomplishments, highlighting every milestone. The other works quietly, sharing only when necessary. Over time, the perception of these individuals may differ significantly. The one who speaks constantly may be seen as seeking validation. The one who remains measured may be seen as confident and self-assured. The Stoics valued modesty not as a form of hiding, but as a form of discipline. They believed that true strength does not require constant announcement. It is visible through consistent action. Silence in moments of success also protects your internal balance. It prevents your identity from becoming dependent on external recognition. You remain focused on growth rather than praise. Number 12. Use silence as your weapon. When words add no value, not every thought needs to be expressed. Silence in these moments reflects maturity and self-control. It shows that you value meaning over noise. One of the simplest yet most profound disciplines the Stoics practiced was restraint in speech. They understood that the urge to speak is often driven not by necessity, but by discomfort with silence. Many people feel compelled to fill pauses, contribute opinions, or respond to every statement, even when their words add little substance. Over time, this habit creates noise rather than clarity. Conversations become filled with repetition, exaggeration, and unnecessary commentary. The Stoics approach speech differently. Before speaking, they considered whether their words would improve the situation. Would they clarify something important? Would they contribute meaningfully to the discussion? If not, silence became the preferred option. This discipline creates a powerful shift in how your words are perceived. When you speak less frequently but with intention, people begin to listen more carefully. Your voice carries weight because it is not diluted by constant expression. Silence also enhances awareness. While others focus on speaking, you focus on observing. You notice patterns, inconsistencies, and details that might otherwise be overlooked. This awareness strengthens your understanding of the situation and improves the quality of your eventual response. Over time, the habit of speaking only when necessary transforms communication into a deliberate act. Your words become precise, measured, and impactful. Silence, in this sense, is not absence, it is preparation. Silence is not weakness, it is discipline in its purest form. When you learn to control your words and speak only when necessary, your presence becomes more powerful and your actions more effective. The Stoics believed that self-control in speech reflects self-control in thought. A person who can remain silent when provoked, uncertain, or emotionally challenged demonstrates mastery over impulses that control most people. This mastery creates stability. You are not easily drawn into conflict. You are not pressured into revealing more than necessary. You are not influenced by every emotional shift in your environment. Instead, you move with intention. You observe before acting. You respond rather than react. Over time, this discipline shapes how others perceive you. Your silence becomes associated with strength, not hesitation. Your words become associated with clarity, not noise. And your presence begins to carry a quiet authority that does not rely on volume or frequency. The Stoics understood that power does not always announce itself. Sometimes it appears in restraint, in patience, in the ability to remain composed when others lose control. Silence, when used wisely, becomes one of the most effective expressions of that power. Say this to yourself: my silence is my strength, and my control is my power.